Hi everyone, welcome to Type Talks. Today we're here to talk about how it's like to be a blind ENFP, and I bet this also applies for INFPs as well too. And so I'm here with Tyler and Suyeon. We're here to talk about all things NEFI. And so Tyler, could you tell us a bit about you?
I am a totally blind musician. I was born in the late 90s and I've been a musician since the early 2000s. So I started at a nice young age. Um, I've I've been on online TV shows like Song Fight, and I've been to music events like Song Site. I did music for Dis Art in 2018 and 2019. I've worked with professional songwriters like Eric Zanitas. I'm an ambassador in the nonprofit organization Gallup. I'm a member of the National Federation of the Blind and the American Council of the Blind. I've I've actually done several artistic media, not just music. I'm also a writer, programmer. I've made a couple interactive story games, and I just live an artistic life.
Heck yes, yeah. It'll be really interesting to dive into your experience with art and also all of this as well. So awesome. So it seems like we have two artists here because Su Young is also a very artist by heart too. So I'd love to hear a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Suyeon Kim. Suyeon like sushi. Suyeon. I'm from South Korea. I'm still living in South Korea. I've been totally blind since I was born, because of the visual nerve problem. I'm not a English mother tongue speaker, so I might be a bit unnatural. Please forgive me. I'm an ENFP from being born, but I was kind of tested as an INFP when I went into college, not because I became introverted by heart, but because I became a bit depressed. So the test thought I was an INFP, but I was an ENFP who was depressed. And I think I believe I'm an Enneagram 4, so I am a bit more emotional than any other ENFP. I don't know. Um, yeah, so I am an artist as well. I play piano, I sing. I have dabbled into violin and ukulele and flute and stuff. I'm interested in different instruments. And I am studying English literature. So I'm very interested in poem and novels. And I love talking and discussing those things with people. And I'm also MBTI fan. Uh, this is my coffee. Oh my god, I touched the mic, but this is my coffee. I'm a coffee fan as well. I love salad. It's a bit weird. I'm a cat geek. I don't know much about cats' behavioral pattern or something, but I just love cats. Yeah, that's about me.
Yeah, if we were visual people, we would totally have a web comic, MBTI cat. It's like ENFP curious cat. Meow. IN and then like ISFJ matter of fact cat. Like matter of fact cat. Meow. Like just like we'd always have these web comic cats.
Yeah, like we have imagined how cats would sound according to MBTI type, but like that is for another video. I don't know. Yeah.
That is something we can explore. Yeah, I'd love to go over that. Now I'm curious of the 16 cats. Um,
We probably only came up with like five of them. We have to work it out.
Yeah, right.
all right, that's gonna be our part two, guys.
Nice.
And so, my first question for you two is how is it like to be blind and an NFP as well? Tyler mentioned how being blind is like being an ENFP, and I thought it was really funny. And I was wondering if you could go into that.
Well, So some blind people, especially the more artistic ones, have this synesthesia where a sound can remind you of a taste, or a smell can remind you of a sound. So if you see someone drinking chocolate milk and they say, "This chocolate milk tastes like F sharp major music," that's like that synesthesia, that association between a taste and sound. And therefore, I think a lot of ENFPs have synesthesia. Therefore, ENFPs might have an idea, like a lot of ENFPs might have the spirit of a blind person, or at least the spirit of someone with a certain disability. Um, I'm aware that not all synesthesia is created equal. Some people with vision might have synesthesia where a certain music note reminds them of a color,
Yeah, just like our
while
mutual like INFP friend, right? Yeah, she
maybe
has low vision. She seems like an INFP, and she reported that she can't when she hears music, she can see the color. But I think it's like more of a association, like NESI association instead of SE, like real feeling. Like
right.
when she hears the note, she actually sees the color. I think it's more of a association.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've actually never known anyone with color synesthesia, but that would be awesome
Hmm.
to hear about that.
Yeah, I never knew that blind people, a lot of them have synesthesia until you mentioned it, so that's a really cool fact. And I guess it makes a lot of sense because your brain is trying to make sense of something it hasn't seen before, and so relating it to something that is the closest association makes sense. So young, I was wondering about your experience with being blind and being an ENFP.
Yeah, I also have synesthesia. Like, I think it is like when I hear something and when I feel something when I was very young, then that becomes my SI memory bank. That becomes in my SI memory bank. And when my NE looks at similar things as I live on, it keep connecting with what I have felt when I was like 5 years old, so I keep feeling this kind of synesthesia, but I keep losing it. I don't know. I don't want to lose it, but like maybe because I'm so busy with TE nowadays, I don't have time to really process the synesthesia. I don't know. And additionally, I have a like merit as a blind people who can't see just anything. I have an experience where I can express things with other senses, um, instead of seeing it. So, like when I hear the ocean, I talk about the sound, and I'm reminded of the song of the ocean or song of the sea, of like a poem or something by Tennyson. I don't know. Um, like that. Like I focus on sound and other senses than sighted, like eyesight. So my expression becomes very creative, becomes very unique than sighted people. Uh, but according to Tyler, a lot of ENFPs do the same. They try their best when they see something instead of trying to SE, I see something. They try to keep connecting those eyesight stuff to other senses stuff. So they seem very descriptive when I look at ENFPs. Yeah.
A very interesting experience. And so I'm wondering about how it's like to be an artist or musician, how it's like navigating that while blind.
That's the thing about being a blind musician, is as far as the actual playing of the music, for example, like playing it on the piano and singing it. I feel like I have a good sense for that because having to learn music by listening to it and instead of reading it. Well, not instead of reading it. I've seen a few pages of Braille music notation in my life, but let's just say for every 20,000 pages of Braille literature I've probably read one page of music. So I've only read a few Braille music pieces, but for the most part, I've learned music by listening, and I feel like that gives me a different sense, like a deeper sense of what the chords are, because instead of just seeing notes on a page, I actually hear it and take it in and feel it. And I always liked that, yet it felt like the like music classes, like music professors and such, felt like it was a hindrance because they're like, hey, in music class you have to write music. But luckily I eventually found software. Or I should say I eventually learned to use software. Some software I've always known about. But yeah, since I'm more of a listener than a reader, that makes me get a full feel for the sound of it rather than trying to imagine the sound by reading.
Yeah, and also like I learned how to use that software. Can we say the name of it? It's called Lily Pond.
Yeah,
Tyler taught me how to use it. And before that, I didn't know how to compose because to compose and record music, you need to be able to write the music down, but using what was it? Civilius? Um
yeah. It's
like
the same as
noteworthy composer.
it's the same as Noteworthy Composer. Yeah,
Yeah, right. Using those kind of programs, it's so visual. So I can't write music down. Um, but Tyler taught me how to do Lily Pond. It is very text, notepad, TXT, text based. It's very like HTML ish. When you make HTML, you keep writing down the symbols and stuff instead of doing things visually. Well, Lily Pond was the same. Well, if you want to play A, you really type A, alphabet A, in the text file, and you save into Lily Pond specific file. That way, written music became accessible. It's interesting.
Increased accessibility in the world. And
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. If you have any original pieces of music or any covers too you want to feature, I can put at the end of this video because yeah, we can give a snippet of the musical genius behind these two. So, what are some topics you're really passionate about bringing up today? What would you like to talk about?
Hmm.
I wanted to talk about TE and SI of blind ENFPs as well because NEFI is I don't know, it's a bit more difficult, but like intuitive and feeling realm is uh, is pretty imaginative and creative and emotional, so it is about expressing our feelings. So it's difficult, but it's not very, like, it's not impossible. But T and SI are really, really difficult for me, and they're really necessary to live on in this like, in this Asian hold. So
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
okay.
Macy. Yeah. It's kind of becoming the stereotype, even among people who are Asian, like just the strict household and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. I could see how living in a household where it's also very SJ is very different than how an ENFP naturally operates. So, Sion, you mentioned something really interesting where when you were depressed, you typed out as INFP on personality tests. And this is a universal phenomenon for ENFPs. You can tell if an ENFP is depressed if they score INFP on a personality test. That's a joke, but there's a lot of truth behind that too. And so, yeah,
Yep.
I wonder if growing
Um,
up with a lot of rules and needing to follow procedure, feeling like you're not allowed to let your NEFI unleash its full creativity into the world might contribute a little bit to a little bit of depression sometimes, or a moodiness. Yeah, I'll let Tyler speak.
yep. For me, I had I think my parents were. I've theorized several things. Maybe ISFP and ISTP, but yeah, I'm pretty sure my mom's ISFP. But I would say because of the amount of encouragement I received, like you can do anything you want and things like that, I would say for the most part, I had healthy intuition for a long time. Um, and yeah, there was a time when I was coming up INFP, but that was actually when my dad died in 2015. It was a very strange time in my life. Um, Now I will say there were times when I felt like my creativity was stifled. Like my mom would say I was being childish or something like that, and um, but that was just an interesting time in my life. So like I said, there were a few times when my creativity felt stifled, but I know in America there are a lot more NPs out there, and sometimes I would hang out with them in college, and I would not feel stifled at all. But whenever something happened in my life, like if I lost someone close to me, or like like what I believed getting shattered, that's when I would get depressed. It's like, wait, that thing that I thought was true all my life, that thing like is not, or the thing that I believed in is gone now. Like that kind of feeling. That is when I would start coming up INFP.
Yeah, when you have your paradigm broken or your worldview shattered, that can be devastating indeed. And it's also a little bit of that phenomenon of an ENFP can put something on a pedestal in some sort of way, or put it in a very hopeful, optimistic way. And when that optimism is shattered, that can be quite devastating. So it's like, oh, in the sense that, yeah, it's not what you thought it would be. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, in my case, my parents are ESTJs and ESTJ and ISFJ. So, and my sister is an ESTP, so very different. Um, so wh- I don't know. Many ENFPs report that they follow rather TE, the social feedback, a good feedback from outside. In my case, the good feedback from outside came when I did a good job when it comes to SI. So when I was sincere to my study, when I set for like long, like 3 hours or four to study, when I did things regularly, like my parents gave me a good job hint. And when my SI was bad, my parents really discouraged me using any since I was young. Because of that, I kept thinking, okay, the society's good feedback is decide the deciding good feedback point is SI. So I tried my best to do SI since I was college student because a long time ago when I went to elementary school, I didn't have even a hint of SI. So whenever my parents wanted me to do I thought it was a message to do TE, so I focused more on TE. But like since I was like college student, I realized that okay, they mean SI without knowing about function stuff. So I started to be SI, like I started to censor a little bit instead of going all in, and I started being typed in the test as an INFP. So um, more SI stuff, and being a blind ENFP in this household is very difficult because first, it's hard to do. Oh, okay, it's hard to do uh Venn diagram, like table, a bit visualizing your schedule and what you're doing, as TE users love doing, like sticky notes, post-its, cue cards, so many time management tools. But I have my Braille Sense. I have just text files, the list of to-do things, and the I have my phone, I have Bixby, so I can call it and say, schedule me on this time with the blind ENFP session. And my phone tells me that those are my only systems, so it's very difficult to manage external environment. Um, Second, it's SI lack. So like lack of SI. Many blind people memorize what they have in their life, for example, the colors of their clothes, the colors of every object, and even route that they want to go when they do cane travel, the canes that blind people use, right? So they memorize all the ways, the paths, and they memorize everything in which place. But like in my case, I hate putting things in the same places. I vaguely do. Like for example, I only place my phone in my room, but I don't care where I place it or something like that. I become very rough about the places of my objects. So it's very I don't know, it's very difficult to organize myself and memorize.
Yeah,
The last thing is like NE problem. So many things in Korea are visual centered, like sight centric. So I feel always a lack of information. So because of lack of information, I feel difficult to manage TE and SI more than sighted people. Yeah, Tyler, what?
I was gonna say I think I have that problem memorizing as well, unless an object is really in my FI.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Like,
Like for example, I love memorizing songs because it's my
yeah, I've for me for me for me I try to memorize songs, but I'm so low on SI that I don't get the lyrics. Maybe I'm really good with chords, but
No,
like
you're good with lyrics if it is in your FI deeply rooted.
yeah, I guess the concept of memorizing lyrics is in my FI, but it's almost like a program written in the C language, like allocate this much space for lyrics, and it's almost like my little processor just isn't allocating quite enough to get lyrics unless they're really repetitive. Then it can store it in a variable and use it again and again and again.
So, speaking of memorizing song lyrics, do you guys ever break into song together then in those random FI moments?
Yeah,
Yeah, what a wonderful duo.
yeah.
What other parts of the blind experience would you want to highlight?
I just love the technology. M- um, my computer has a screen reader called NVDA, which I'm actually certified to do tech support in. Um, I'm so proud of my blindness that I got a blind centered phone, a blind shell classic too. But but Samsungs and iPhones are also popular in the blind community. But I'm just so proud of my blindness that I got a blind centered phone. But even if you have a regular phone with a touch screen, there are really cool, like Android has the talkback, and iPhone has the voiceover, and so so I guess no matter what kind of phone you have, you can make it accessible with some settings. But I'm just proud of, kind of like when I join a chat room that's specifically blind. It's like, I'm blind and I'm proud. Let me hang out with these blind people. Well, I guess that went so far that it extended to my phone. For a little while, it extended to my computer. I had a Braille note, um, instead of a computer with Windows. Well, Braille note technically has Windows, but it's CE, which is called Windows, but is barely Windows. Um, but I eventually realized that accessibility on a computer, a mainstream Windows computer, is so good that I could use it. Now, I'm aware that the accessibility on regular phones is good too, but maybe I have maybe I have a little bit of sensing when it comes to feel, and it's like, wow, I've got a key. I don't need this. Like it feels so much better than the touch screen. Just that little bit of feel feedback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the tactile.
Oh, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So I want to say whole my life that I don't understand why people keep saying, oh, we need technology diet, we need to stop using technology, we need we we have to read books instead of using computer. Well, of course technology is a double-edged sword and we have to use it wisely, but that doesn't mean that we have to stop developing this technology, because blind people and other people with disabilities, other disabilities, are so well using the technology wisely. I mean, the technology opened the door of accessibility and disisolation, or like society to us blind people. Um, I can use a delivery app and eat things without risking my life, and I can talk to other blind people online instead of trying to go out. Well, I don't mean like I want to be hikikomori or something, but
What's
Vinny,
like Komori?
um I think they are people who never want to go out of their house. They
Mhm.
just want to do everything online. Well, I love going out and feeling the air and physical differences, but what I want to say here is, um, things became more open to blind people because of technology, like Zoom meetings, and blind people have community in Team Talk, um, servers because it is accessible, um, stuff like that. So I think we have to think again when you keep saying like, oh, we don't need technology anymore, or like without thought, because people with disability are being treated well with technology than in the real world. We can read anything, we can watch movies with descriptive descriptions in it, and deaf people can listen to things by subtitles. Yeah.
Yeah, technology is a huge revolution in helping people with disabilities in many different ways. Absolutely. Really well put. I wonder if Tyler's fascination with feel comes from the amplification of senses that comes from, if one of your senses is taken away, the other ones are probably amplified. And it made me wonder if blind musicians are better or can be better than the typical musician because they're so sensitive to the sound. And so like Suyong, when I heard you play piano, it was really, 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 really good. Like it'll
Oh.
be at the end of this video too. And I was like, wow,
Oh.
I had the thought like, wow, this is amazing.
But
I
I
was
think
mind
we're
blown.
a bit more sensitive. Like we pay more attention to other senses. I always say that about the information gathering, we can't use eyesight, and we only can use other senses to guess what's going on visually. So we are very sensitive about other senses. Maybe SE users might think that the other senses are amplified, but as an any SI user, I just want to say we pay more attention to other senses. So I think, yeah, we spend more time when it comes to hearing and music and tactile stuff and stuff.
You know, it's pretty interesting, Soo-young. You have a very adventurous or creative spirit that likes to be very whimsical and out in the world, and it kind of scares your SJ parents or
Right.
the and so I was like, oh, that's a very ENFP problem in being in the household that you are. And
Yeah, um, and the same and the same goes in my family. Like I said, I think my mom is an ISFP, and that just means she's witnessed a lot. I think that means she's witnessed a lot, and she's like, those stairs can get pretty slippery. I've seen people fall. You better grab that railing. And sometimes her safety stuff will get a little bit insistent, and it can be overwhelming. But I guess I guess I see the point. But yeah.
absolutely. And so Soo-young, what is your experience with being a free spirit in a household that wants to make sure you're safe all the time?
Yeah, just like Tyler said, our family, of course, prioritized safety over adventure. So it has been very difficult to say I can be responsible about my safety now. Uh, it has been very difficult to say that to my parents because they still think that I need companion, I need safety nets, I need other people who take care of me. So it's difficult to go out with my parents because they don't really adventure. They just go to a decided place and come home. And they don't let me go alone. Um, outside. So I feel like Disney Rapunzel in the beginning, when it comes to like When Will My Life Begin song, Rapunzel actually does a lot of things inside her house, but she still wants to go out, right? Like she does ballet, chess, dancing, book reading, painting and stuff, a lot of things like the all the things in the world she does inside her room, but she still wants to go out. I'm the same. I do a
Yes.
lot of things in my room. I talk to Tyler. I do audio games. I want to talk about audio games later too, but like I talk to Tyler audio games. I read books and I study and I talk to other people and I play piano and sing and stuff like that. But at the same time, want to go out, adventure, and experience more. So, yeah, I always feel suffocated as an ENFP. I feel so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and you wanted to go a little bit into audio games. So yeah, could you tell us a bit?
Yeah, so audio games is the Tyler can maybe explain about the programming side of it, but actually it was not in Korea, just except for the Sense game stuff, but like I he taught me a lot of audio games, so I'm enjoying it. So it is based on 3D sound. 3D sound is you can hear the sound in stereo and also back and forth, behind and front, and you can arrow your way. The arrow makes you the arrow keys on your keyboard makes you walk, and you the space is a weapon, or the enter is a weapon, so you can they can combine different functions in the keyboard, and they can make thousands of games. For example, Survive the Wild is a multiplayer game that you have to survive in the wild by building the weapons and tools, by carving the wood, and uh, connecting things with strings, and hunting rabbit and stuff. The way you hunt rabbit, the space, I think the space is the uh, dodging knife function, and the arrow keys are the way you walk. So you chase the sound of the rabbit, and you use the knife well to kill it or stuff like that. Yeah. So Tyler, can you explain it a bit more? I think I didn't.
Yeah, well, despite being blind, I am fairly well studied on my video game references. So, often I can compare um, an audio game to a video game. So, there are some video games are about surviving in the wild, but I can't really name any. But yeah, it's basically the same, except often in a video game, you can't tell where the enemy is or what you're looking for is just by sound. It's only visual. So audio games usually don't have any visual. Like there are audio video games out there, but not many. Most audio games are just the audio.
Sound.
And yep, my favorites, because I'm such a video game fan, are audio game adaptations of video games. The people I'm about to name are mostly blind people. Um, for example, Lworks has an audio version of Duck Hunt, the old NES game from the mid '80s. I think the audio version was made sometime in the 2000s. Um, Planet Seva has an audio version of the mid '80s classic Super Mario Brothers. And back to Lworks, they have an audio game that's based on Super Mario Brothers type style, but they made an original character instead, and that's Super Liam. And yeah, um and then people who get ready for this. People who like the criminal gangster kind of games, like Grand Theft Auto, they have VG Storm's Psycho Strike, and
Yeah, it's epic. It's epic.
and and then VG Storm also has Manamon, which has Mon in it, so you know it has to resemble Pokemon in some way. Um, so yeah, it's in many ways it mirrors the video game industry, but it's audio based and it's a lot of blind developers.
Yeah, interesting. He says mirror. So blind people, even blind people, use a lot of sighted languages. We always say that, oh, I showed you that song, or like, can I show you that song, or do you want to watch a movie with me, or like, um, uh, I want to see you again, or something. Like we use a lot of sighted languages. We use mirror, reflection, transparent, words like that, like as a symbol. So it's actually very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's true. Like there's some able-bodiedness assumed in the language itself, and I actually wasn't aware of it until you pointed it out. Wow, the systemic things about our language that infer that we can see things. Well,
Even I know a watch called a timepiece. It's a Bradley timepiece that you can touch the hand, because it's a different hands. the hands are beads, so you can touch them. They have like tactile marks on the watch, so you can touch the time marks. And they say a watch means you watch the watch with your eyes, so let's call it timepiece. Yeah.
Wow.
So Korean is the same. Like we don't call a watch, we call it time. Actually, time machine, but it doesn't mean uh, going back in time kind of machine. So
Oh, I'm disappointed. I wish you could go back in time with that.
yeah, me.
That's awesome. That's great.
That's
Yeah.
that's probably gonna. I'm probably gonna change my Pinetown front novel now. Like before, their magic teleportation machine was a big elevator box, but I want it to be like a mini watch or something.
Wow, nifty. Wow,
That's so
nice,
cool. Yeah,
nice. I gave you ideas.
look at you guys. Yeah, fueling each other's ideas.
Yeah,
And
We're
so,
exchanging.
oh, continue.
exchanging.
Yes, the NE popcorn goes on. Giving. And so thank you, Suyeon and Tyler, for coming out and sharing your experience as being blind and being an ENFP as well, and your experience of life and all the things that you have to share within that realm. And as we close off, I just would like to say that Suyeon is looking to make friends in the typology community. If you're looking to make a fellow MBTI connection, she's enthusiastically looking for.
Yeah, I am.
We
Yeah.
are.
We
So
are. Yeah.
yeah. And so feel free to message her. She'll be in the comments below this video. So yeah, I
And
don't.
if you are blind people who are watching, let's share your know-how to live on this earth as blind people. We are here as a one shipmates, like we're all friends here. So let's share the ways we navigate in this on this earth together. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's such an NF thing to say. We're all friends on this ship on Earth.
Yep. Yeah.
There's a
Yeah. Yeah. We were gonna start reading Charles Eisenstein pretty soon. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
amazing. And so yeah, thanks Suyeon for your very youthful attitude in the sense that you have a bright-eyed, optimistic, and whimsical, free-spirited nature to you. The aliveness and the vivaciousness you have to your character also shows through your musical style too. She plays piano like an absolute pro. She is an absolute pro.
Aw.
And so it'll be proven through the clips that I'll show soon. And yeah, I'll also show one of Tyler's pieces too if he wants to share as well. I'm not forcing you guys to share though. So
I love it.
Yeah, we're
yeah,
happy to share.
awesome. Yeah, and thanks Tyler for coming out. And so Tyler is a very passionate supporter of this currency called PALY. And yeah, I'll just give you a little bit of a shout out there if you want to mention it a little bit to people in the audience.
Yeah. After we started talking about it, we probably first talked about it like 6 months ago, but about 4 months ago, a nonprofit organization similar to the National Federation of the Blind that I was telling you about, a nonprofit organization sprung up in Mexico called Gallup, which I think I said in my intro. I'm an ambassador.
Shout out to
for.
Enrique.
Yeah. Yep, Gallup from Enrique in Mexico. Yeah, he started this organization, which before PALY was kind of the currency people were starting to get tired of. It started in 2018. Basically, PALY is universal basic income for everyone, where the basic income is distributed evenly among the active users. So there's no inflation. And it's like, oh, well, it's like, oh, so like so you might be thinking, oh, like Bitcoin, so there's deflation instead of inflation, and there'll be a PALY shortage. No, PALY has a demurrage fee. Your 100 might become 99 after a year, or 98.5. it's a demurrage fee, and then that fee goes back into the circulation. So there's almost never a shortage. And so, yeah, basic income and anti inflation, the two things that could save the world. But yeah, people are starting to get sick of this PALY because it's like, where can I spend it? Everyone on Das Schwarze Brett in Germany is just selling now. I want to sell my PALY. I want to sell my PALY. I want to sell it. Sell it. Like people were, it's like, where can I spend it? The PALY community was getting tired, but this Yalop in Mexico, they're actually getting users together. Enrique actually got people in his small Mexican town to use it. And now people are starting to actually spend it. And Yalop has a transaction list. But yeah, people have been wanting to do anti-inflation currencies for a long time. Bitcoin. Well, but like I said, Bitcoin, by making an anti-inflation currency, they made a deflation currency, which is actually not actually a problem, a very different problem, but still a problem. Well, by PALY being a Silvio Gazelle demurrage currency, it's right in between, and it solves the both extremes problems. And it has a really easy website. You can log in. You have to verify your phone, and the app is smart enough to know it's a cell phone, so that people can't cheat the system with like Skype phone numbers and stuff that you can set up more than one of. But yeah, the fine folks in Germany created a great currency. Some even finer folks in Mexico are allowing it, giving people a place to a platform where you can spend it and trade it and stuff. And ambassadors are showing up all over the world now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting indeed. And so this new currency, it's also a form of universal basic income, right? In a almost cryptocurrency format.
Right. Not technically cryptocurrency. I think they call it database currency. So like the way an email is sent, or at least the way data is stored in Wikipedia. So I guess a little bit, or even like the way your video is stored on YouTube, database. So it might be more databasey than crypto to keep it simple, but given how the addresses work, there's a lot of encrypted numbers when you try to read the transactions when you're logged out and such. So there is some encryption going on. So you're secure. But I think to keep it simple, they made it a database currency instead of a crypto, like complicated blockchain crypto. But it has a lot of the same principles, yes.
Awesome. Well, good to know, Tyler. And so that is one of his really big passions.
Yeah, on the video conferencing platform Jitsi, I am going to be hosting the PALY Fest Festival on May 22nd with the help of Yelop.
Yeah, and I'll have that linked below in case anyone is interested. And so thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.